Hey guys, welcome. Just checking in, making sure everybody can hear. We are live now on the Daily Dose of Awesome. So welcome everybody, making sure you can hear me. Let's get that rocking and rolling. We are going to have some fun today. Why? Because we're talking about time management. And I think that's one of the most critical elements that is needed in the world of entrepreneurship, and especially when you're talking about building a lifestyle business, doing this around your family. How do you kind of balance out work and life? And we had talked about this previously, and I really want to kind of go in depth because I had some aha moments while I was up in Chicago with the Fast Track group. And I thought, you know what, this is not only valuable to the members in our Fast Track community, but also valuable to our community, because this is going to shed some light on what's going on inside your world. So first off, I want to make sure you guys can hear me. So if you guys can, just say yes. Making sure you guys, hey Carrie, how are you? Great to see you guys here. So this is going to be really about shortcuts for your success. Also, we're going to be talking about how to track your success, because I think that's a really important part too. A lot of times we get involved in this world of internet marketing and we're like, I'm not seeing any results, what's working, what's not working. So really just want to kind of touch base with you guys on that one. So thank you guys again for being on here. Who am I is a great question. My name is Chef Katrina. I am the Director of Client Experience for Elite Marketing Pro. I'm also a speaker, mentor, and team building specialist. I have been working in my own business for the past couple of years, building out training and so forth. And I really am in love with the Elite Marketing Pro system, this community, and guys, just really what you're up to. And I can't thank you enough for you guys taking on your business. So hey Bev, how are you? Great to have you here. So let's talk time management shortcuts, right? Let's talk about really what it looks like. So we spent 3 days in a workshop for our Fast Track members up in Chicago, and they're having breakthroughs after breakthroughs around what it looks like to be in business. And time management technically seems to be one of the bigger ones, right? Like, how do you work as a parent from home and, with your kids distracting, with, animals distracting, spouses distracting? How do you find the balance in your life, right? How is that possible? How does that really work for you? And then on the flip side of that, if you're having a 9-to-5 job, or you're like me as a chef who had these erratic hours, I was working, 10 to 12 hour days in the kitchen. And it's like, how do you build a business around the chaos in life, right? Things are popping up. Things are always, seeming to be important. They take your time. So how do you balance that? How do you actually take a look at what you're up to and successfully build out your business? So that's what we're going to talk about here today for a little bit, is really around managing your time and really what that looks like. So the first thing I actually had to commit to, and was the hardest thing for me, was actually, Alyssa's like, I was thinking about this topic. One of the things I had to really commit to was scheduling my time. And there's a couple of different tools that I've been using over the past few years to really figure out what was going to work best, what was going to allow me to be more productive, get the results that I needed. What do I need to do versus what I don't need to do? So one of the big elements I had to first look at when I started getting in my business, and I have to thank my friend Doug for this one, is that really it came down to was actions versus training, right? So when I looked at what it was going to take to build my business, there are things that are putting you in action, things that are actually communicating what you're up to, what you're doing in your business, what's going on, how to buy products and services, right? These are like the action steps. So if you guys are asking, what are action steps? So action steps, there's a couple of different ones, and we can actually do. Kate does a great job of going over this inside that Fast Track mentorship group. But the action steps for me, the ones that are going to produce results, right, which is the potential of getting a lead, a new client, a new customer, somebody that joins me in business. The way that happens is through active marketing. So active marketing is, ready? Guys, taking notes because this is important. So in terms of time management, you have activities that produce results. That is doing a Facebook Live, does produce results. As long as there's a call to action, you're actually getting out in front of your audience, you're making a call to action, you're training them. That is an activity that can produce results. Email marketing is another activity that when done can produce results, right? There could be a call to action. There could be a call to read a blog post. There's a lot of different things, but it actually produces an action or a result. Another one that was really important was a commitment to myself. Was like a 15 minutes of mindset and motivation. So like doing the Daily Dose of Awesome, committing to watching these Monday through Friday, whether in the replay mode or in live mode, was I found critical to my success because I needed that constant reminder of what I was and wasn't doing, right? Another action step. So you've got email marketing, you've got Facebook marketing, you've got running your ads, right? So for those of you that are running Facebook ads, that is an action step. That is you actively engaging. Another thing that we talk about that's an activity is you're engaging on your Facebook page, right? So when you're on your business page for your business and you're replying back to people and you're having conversations with them, like these are things that are actively building your business, right? You're actively marketing, you're actively engaging, you're actively putting yourself out there as a value leader. Hey, Fernie, what's up? So these were like the actionable steps that have to be taken, right? And there's a few of them that need to be taken consistently, right? So when we talk about consistency, we all get like overwhelmed. We're like, oh, I gotta be consistent and I gotta do this every single day. And the reality is it's taking a look at what is your life looking like? What is it that you are looking at on your day-to-day business and can accomplish? So when we talked about action steps, there's activity steps, and then there's also, for many of you, there's the learning process, right? And that's really what takes place behind the scenes of your business. There's what you're actively sharing with people, the emails, the Facebooks, the post engagements, all that stuff that's actively building your business. And then you have to provide value to yourself. You have to invest in your education. So really looking at what is it that you want to maintain? What is it that you want to learn? And when you start taking over that element of your life, of your business, that just runs in the background, right? And give yourself permission to learn over the long haul, okay? But that's really what I work with even with our fast track clients, right? I find out what their business looks like, and I typically have them take 3 actions, right? Like 3 commitments that they're going to take on in their business. And based on that, looking at their schedule, looking at their life, that's what we have to look at, right? So how do we maintain activities that produce results and continue developing in ourselves and have a family life and have a business or, work for the boss? Like, how does that all happen without going into complete and total overwhelm or shutdown or what's not working, right? So one of the things I want to share with you guys that I did in the very, very beginning, when I first got started with Elite Marketing Pro, when I really wanted to take a look at what I was doing, I actually went out and bought what I call my wall calendar, okay? So this was my wall calendar, and what I ended up doing on here is I started writing down all the training that I knew was always going to happen, right? So I know every Monday there's a Monday Mojo, and I'm a visual learner, so this works for me. This may not work for you. I'm just sharing you guys what worked around time management for me. Was that I knew that there was a Monday Mojo that took place every Monday with Elite Marketing Pro. So I put that on my calendar as like something set that's in there, right? I knew every Tuesday there was a traffic training that alternated, so I made sure that was on my calendar, right? I just wanted to know what was going on in the world of Elite Marketing Pro. I wanted to have a sense of what training was going on, what I could commit to, what I couldn't commit to. So on the calendar, I would put the Begin to Win training, right? So I'd actually schedule and put on here the Begin to Win training. Then I would also look at events that were taking place in my life. So if you have kids, writing on here like what's going on with your kids. Do they have soccer? Do they have activities? What does it look like? So really for me, it was like getting a visual overview of what was going on in my life. And then what I did around that is because I knew what was going on and what was important, I was then able to actually schedule what I could attend and what I couldn't attend, right? I had to have a visual for me of kind of looking at my life in a glance on a month to month. And I got really froggy last year. And I actually you guys may be able to see this. But this was my really in-depth look at my calendar. So let's see if I can share that with you guys. And really what I did is I color coordinated. I had to do some color coordination. And I actually write on here all the different things that were going on, all the different events that were taking place. And it looks chaotic. I promise you guys, it looks like there was a ton of stuff going on. But the reality is that there wasn't a lot going on. For the first time in years, I could actually see where I had a calendar and what was going on with it. So how many of you, quick question, how many of you that are watching right now or watching this a few minutes later, how many of you actually are using a calendar? How many of you are using like Google Plus, or you're using a Google Calendar, maybe your Siri calendar? Like, just how many, I'm just curious, how many of those that are watching are actually using a digital calendar of some kind, or maybe a written calendar to track your progress? So I'm just curious, because honestly, I resisted the calendar for a long time. I thought, oh my gosh, if I have to schedule something, there's no way, right? If I have to schedule something, I need the flexibility. Things come up. I got family life. I've got this. I got that. I gotta be flexible in what I'm doing, right? Hands up. So yeah, calendars are good. Old school hey, I'm a big fan of the written calendar. I'm a big fan of the digital calendar. I actually have to use both. And truth be told, right? Yeah, so written calendar works. You got the family calendar that works. Great. So you guys are working within your calendar. And so here's what it looks like, right? When you have doctor's appointment, you put that in the calendar. When you have family stuff, you put that in the calendar. When you have things like doctor's appointments, you put that in the calendar. When you have vacations, I know all of you put that in your calendar when that happens, right? And the reason we put it in there, because it's important to us. It's important to our life. It's important to our business, right? So the request is that you actually look at that in terms of how you're building your business, right? So when are you scheduling that time to write your email to your list, right? When are you scheduling that time to spend with your kids, right? And when are you scheduling the time to have date night with your spouse? And you may think to yourself, I don't want to schedule my life like that. That's just crazy. Like, I don't have any flexibility. I can't, adjust for when things come up. And I get that. Boy, do I get that, right? That was my kicker for so long. And what happened was that when I started putting things, sitting with my friend having dinner, my best friend Jody. And I was like, hey Jody, what's going on? She's like, oh, we're having a conversation. And then I'm like, so when are we meeting up next? And she goes, well, pencil me in. Actually, don't pencil me in. Write me in on your calendar for that we're having or getting together on this date. And I'm like, how does that make you feel to know that you're scheduled onto my calendar? Like, I actually set time aside for you to spend time with you. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God, she hates it. Like the fact that I have to schedule her in. She thinks it's so impersonal because I can't be spontaneous and hang out with her. And that was what was going on in my mind, right? That's what I was thinking she was going to say. And her response actually shocked me. Because what Jody actually said to me was that I really like when I get scheduled on your calendar. Because I know that if you schedule me on your calendar, that time is mine. Like, I don't have you distracted. You're not answering the phone. You're not checking your social media. I know that you've specifically set that time aside for me so that we can have our friendship time, right? Like, I can actually get your full attention without distraction. And I'm thinking, wow, like that was not the response I was expecting at all. And it really made me understand that when I put people on my calendar, right, what I thought was an inconvenience to them or didn't allow me for spontaneity in my life actually created more value for my family and for my friends when they knew that I'd scheduled time just to go be with them. So like when people schedule time to go on vacation, right, and when I schedule time to go visit my family, I actually block off hour sections throughout my day where it's just my family time, right? If I want to schedule time for my workout, for exercise, right, I have to actually schedule that time on my calendar. So it was eye-opening, really a shock to me, just how important it was to schedule my calendar. Because when I honor what's on my calendar, when I honor the commitment that I'm making to spend time with people, it really will change the way you do business, right? Instead of being responsive and reactive to every Facebook Messenger that comes in, and for every email, you feel like, oh my God, I got to respond like, every single moment. What you're training your audience to do is that you're always going to be on demand, right? That you're always just going to be there. And I think that's one of the hardest things that wears on us as an entrepreneur, especially in this, is that we feel we have to respond almost instantaneously to every single thing. And what that does is it causes us a lot of undue stress. So when we can kind of turn off notifications, when we can kind of say, okay, I'm going to check Facebook Messenger at this time and do my responses. I'm going to make sure that I, set up a date night with my husband or my wife or my, boyfriend, so that we have that time that's specifically committed to them. And it happens every Friday and happens from this time. And then we know that we're training our audience and our fans to know that, I have a life too. I'm not going to respond to every message, every email within seconds of each other, because we all have busy lives. And I think when you can share that with your audience, I think when you can set parameters about how you're going to respond and what's really going to take a look at, you're not being mean. You're not being unavailable. What you're saying is that, hey, I'm just like you. I have a life. And I want to make sure that I take care of you. So let's schedule some time to actually talk. Let's schedule some time to actually, hey, get on my calendar so that time is set aside for you. And I think that is really one of the most amazing things you can do for your clients, you can do for your family, you can do for your business and yourself, is really take on your calendar. And it's been amazing the moment I took it on. And I think that is, one of the big takeaways that I got out of attending the Facebook or the Fast Track live event in Chicago and sitting in a room with a bunch of entrepreneurs that are, building their businesses and taking on life and business and being a sole entrepreneur, which can be a lot that goes on. And the more that they take on their calendar, the more that they look at what they're doing, it's really an impressive thing that they can see the gaps where they have time to either download, or they have time to step away from their business, or they have time to commit to their family or their health or their life. And I think that's really what the difference is between all of this. And Heather, Heather was there this weekend. And you said, I just talked to my 5-year-old about this yesterday. And she's excited that we now have a date on the calendar once a week for her to pick. Yeah, see, I'm just I got the chills when you just said that, Heather. Right? Your daughter now knows that they have a date. They have time with you. And I think as a kid, I remember, having my parents schedule time with me, one-on-one time, actually be on their calendar, not spontaneously, but actually know, because I'm a child of 6. And to know that my parents were spending time with just me was amazing. It made me feel so wanted and needed because it was there. So scheduling time with your spouse, right? How do you let them know they're wanted and needed? Is that you're spending time with them, right? You're carving out that once a week opportunity to do something with them. And the same thing goes for your calendar. The same thing goes for your clients, right? Really, it's not taking away your life. What I discovered is that when I start scheduling my life, it takes so much stress off of me, because all I have to do is then show up. I don't have to worry about all the craziness. I can just say, nope, I can't do that because I already have this planned, right? It gives me so much more freedom to say no. It gives me so much more freedom to actually run the business the way that suits my lifestyle. And I think that is one of the things that we all want, right? So when you can schedule things into your calendar, the idea is that we see it restrictive, when the reality is that it gives you more freedom, more power around what you're up to in business. And you actually will start seeing revenue increase. You'll start seeing client engagement increase, because they see you now as a real person. And that, I think that's the magic, that's the juice to really having and finding the success in your business. And so I really want to just make sure you guys get this, that the world of time management, the shortcuts for success are to schedule things into your calendar that are important to you, right? Set the time up, and even if you don't complete the task, I'll show you guys what I have. Now you guys are going to laugh, but I have the Death Star. I'll show it that way, right? Woohoo! I'm a Star Wars fan, but this is my timer, and I actually slot things on my calendar based on time, and then I give myself the time frame to complete it. And once this goes on, I stop, I step away, I complete the task, I take a deep breath for myself, so that I can then refocus on what I need to do. So, how to track your success? this calendar that I created, that I showed you guys, the one that I did my first year in 2015, when I did my year in review as my first year as an entrepreneur, what was funny is that I don't remember most of my first year, but because I had it on my calendar when I documented my first lead, when I documented my first sale, when I documented going to events, when I documented my first conversation with Tim Irway, when I documented every little thing that was going on, what ended up happening is I saw how far I had come through the year, and I was blown away by the success that I'd actually created because I had documented those events, right? I'd scheduled those events into my calendar, and today they stand out as like landmarks. I can actually go back through my calendar and I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this was the day I had a meeting with Tim Irway, because it's written on my calendar. Right? Like, this is the day I sat down and we brainstormed the 10-minute traffic machine, which you guys have in your back office. Like, I actually have the day in here. I know exactly what day I sat down with Tim Irway, Matt Crystal, Fernie Ceballos, Vitaly Grimblatt, and we actually created the outline of what it looked like for the 10-minute traffic machine. Like, those are now, like, documented events that are now permanent on my calendar. And so having those first is a reminder of how far I've come. And that's why I say, like, documenting, writing it down, getting an overview of what's going on in your life, this literally will transform the way you do business. And with that, guys, I know I'm a little over time, but that is, our daily dose of awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you guys found this valuable. If you did, this is what we train inside of Elite Marketing Pro. This is what we train inside the system. This is what we train around Social Media Recruiter, right? Like, if you're going to schedule engagement, you're going to start scheduling how to engage on social media, like through the Social Media Recruiter, right? That's the product. I recommend you guys share out Social Media Recruiter. As a network marketer, it's one of the best products you can have for learning how to create engagement online, and around that, create structure for your success. And so that is my 20 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education. Thanks, guys, for joining me here on the Daily Dose of Awesome, brought to you by Elite Marketing Pro. Wishing you guys all a great day. Go out, share this training, and with that, we'll see you guys inside the community and also around the next couple of weeks, because we've got no excuses coming up right around the corner. So with that, guys, have a great one, and we'll talk to you soon.